Hello, I'm Seema, and welcome here again. And today I come to you again with one of those things that I told you once upon a time in one of my vlogs, that not your teacher, not your clergyman, not your pastor, not your mother and father, not your in-law are going to say these things to you. And they just don't have the guts to say these things. They're just not, I won't say they're not built to say these things, but they are just, tradition never lets them say these things honestly, openly. Yet these things are real in life. They affect us in our day-to-day life, and people just don't want to go that side of that Pandora's box and open it up, and they feel it's disturbing. But you fail to understand that in most cases, these are the things that depress us. These are the things that we find ourselves sometimes on drugs because we're hiding away from the reality. We find ourselves onto in rehabilitation centers. We find ourselves committing suicide, divorcing, doing all horrible things just because we refuse to accept these things to be addressed in public. Now, if you feel you like so much what I'm going to be talking about, or for those of you who've been watching my content and have not been subscribing, please feel free to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you still feel you want to. And if you feel that what I'm talking about is annoying, rather disturbing, or nonsensical, please still, you can also give me a thumbs down. And if you feel you want to have your opinion add back to this or to this, you can comment down in the description down below. But for now, I really think you need to subscribe. Stick around, I'll be right back shortly. About good cup of coffee. It's a little cool where I am right now. And by the time I left, we were talking about those things that people never want to go and talk about, those things that are not convenient talking about because tradition and sometimes religion, sometimes folklore has locked us somewhere from addressing these things or talking about these things. And what I'm going to be talking about today is something that in 2019 you've had incidents of Harvey Weinstein and so many other people, and there's been this Me Too whole thing that the whole world is standing up and is Me Too, Me Too, Me Too, Me Too. Actually, the other time I was watching, and they were saying that very soon the trial is going to be on. And one thing that really came to my attention is sexual harassment. And when I was understanding and hearing and reading about sexual harassment, I came to realize that I think the female species, pushed so much by the feminists or the angry women, because I'm going to call them angry women because they blow it out of proportion. Some of those ladies, they blow it out of proportion, and you really see, I've always said this all the time, that women have to learn how to take their place in society, just like also men also have to learn how to take their place in society, so that we do not take on each other and clash, because we are meant to coexist, we're meant to live together. Each of us has something they respectively do in society. So you're not more important than I am, I'm not more important than you are. We are here to complement one another and not compete against one another. that on the side. So the thing is, when I was trying to understand the whole thing of how is it called, sexual harassment, I came to realize that some people are going the extra mile of, even when someone compliments you, then it's sexually harassing. I'm not saying that all the compliments come the right way. I've been in places where someone is complimented and I really feel, that's not really good, that's a little bit harsh. Really harsh? No, that's not appropriate is the right word. But the minute you start saying that men are not supposed to compliment women, they're not supposed to even approach women, and now it brings me to something else. When you hear us preserve the environment, who are we preserving it for? The animals? When you hear us talk about the electric cars and the benefits they bring, how they are environmentally friendly and eco-friendly, why are we preserving this world in the first place? When we look at good farming habits or good farming practice, why are we practicing better farming? Don't you think we're practicing these things? We do all these things, we go an extra mile to make this extra effort because we believe we have generations to come. And how are we going to have these generations to come when the mode of procreation, starting procreation, is being called a harassment? Now, I'm not saying that men should just go on and start harassing women, mistreating them, abusing them just because we have to send our genes to the next generation. But the mode of sending those genes, our children, our offspring, the people that will enjoy the eco-friendly environment, the people that are going to enjoy those electric cars, the people that are going to enjoy the good climate that we are fighting very hard to make sure that we preserve. I mean, it's changed. The people that we are looking forward to enjoying the ice in the north of the world, in the North Pole region, how are we going to have them in the first place? If I'm going to approach a lady and express to her how I feel about her, there's no relationship that starts by it being positive, but it's all started by trying out. And that's when you're going to realize that it's a relationship that is going to work out or it won't work out. But I really think ladies have to go back to the drawing board of how they look at these things and perceive these things, and understand that we have to go back to being human. Are we going to keep on hitting on each other? How are we going to even hit on each other? Because the minute you try to go not physical and maybe go social media, go into someone's inbox and express to them how you feel about them, then it will be cyber harassment. When you come physically, it's sexual harassment. So how are we going to, why are we even preserving our environment? There are fires in Australia. Why do we even care about it if we know this is the last generation and it's going to all stop here? Why are we caring about doing so many things? There's so many things that the world is doing just to make sure that the next generation is enjoying itself. So I really think we have to go back to being human, because the world has so much gone away from being human, and we have to go back to being human. My next vlog is going to be so much strongly about humanizing the human beings, because human beings have gone ahead and have dehumanized themselves. And just a sneak peek review of what I might talk about, and so many of you are asking yourselves, what is dehumanizing humans, or humans dehumanizing themselves? Dehumanizing yourself is when you get up and hear an incident of people like Kevin Spacey, who was a big actor that time when he was on peak, and then there came this whole thing of Me Too, and then it came out that, hey, he was abusing female species in the line of duty, and he was stripped of his deal. Now I keep asking myself, if all this had not come to light, you mean all the people that he had done those atrocities to were less of humans, or it was less of a vice in society? So I'm not saying that, I'm not condoning what he's done or what he did, but I'm saying let us learn how to be human again and find a way how we deal with this whole thing without blowing it or escalating it out of proportion. And you get someone, you people who are endorsing, you say, no, he cannot endorse our products anymore, but he's been endorsing them for 5 years. So just imagine, he abused a woman in the middle of his career, and every time this woman saw a commercial where he's advertising maybe a newspaper or anything, they covered their face with a pillow. Was that woman less of a human being? Or was what Kevin Spacey did to that woman less of a bad thing that time? Why do you want to behave that what you do not know is not a bad thing or it does not exist? And then when it comes into existence, it's the most horrible thing, if I've spoken the right English. So let's find a way how to punish these people as human beings and be humans and stop dehumanizing ourselves. If you realize that he's done these things and he's been onto TV, let him go back onto TV, let him do his own thing, but let maybe the endorsements say, he cannot be a face of ours anymore, but let him stay on TV. It's also another way of rehabilitation. If he gets up and says, I cannot be on TV anymore, I don't really feel I am the right person to be into people's living rooms, well and good, but don't get him off TV. He's still a human being, remember? I'll be right back next time. Stick around. If you like what I'm talking about, please feel free to subscribe. I'm Ronald Sima. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm talking about. If you do not like what I'm talking about, please give me a thumbs down. And if you feel you want to comment, please do in the description down below.